Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today in this video I'm going to be reviewing some poetry. I recently bought some books off of Amazon, some poetry books, and this one is a collection of poetry. It's called A Book of Luminous Things, an international anthology of poetry. And I also have this other book, is poetry by Scot. So I'm going to read some poetry out of these two books and leave my review, and yeah. So I'm going to just flip to a random page out of the books and just choose a poem and read it. So let's see. Okay, so this poem is by Charles Simic. It's called Empire of Dreams. So it was written in 1938. So let's read it. On the first page of my dream book, it's always evening. In an occupied country, hour before the curfew, a small provincial city, the houses all dark, the storefronts gutted. I am on a street corner where I shouldn't be, alone and coatless. I have gone out to look for a black dog who answers to my whistle. I have a kind of Halloween mask, which I am afraid to put on. Interesting. Definitely sounds like dark times. Dark times that no one wants to experience. Yeah. Let's go to another. Let's see. Wow, this one is very old, it looks like, by Chu Shu Chen. So, looks like it was written in 1200. Let's see. So this poem is called Morning. I get up. I am sick of rouging my cheeks. My face in the mirror disgusts me. My thin shoulders are bowed with hopelessness. Tears of loneliness well up in my eyes. Wearily, I open my toilet table. I arch and paint my eyebrows and steam my heavy braids. My maid is so stupid that she offers me plum blossoms for my hair. Translated from the Chinese by Kenneth Roxroth. Interesting. I guess you can learn a lot about different cultures through reading literature and poetry from those different cultures and countries. So I guess this book is like a mixture of poetry from all over the place. Different cultures, different people, different experiences. And a lot of them we might not be able to relate to, but it definitely teaches us a little about the world, I believe. So I'm going to flip to another one. Let's see. Okay, this one is called Prayer for My Son, written by James Applewhite in 1935. And just a little bit about it. The province and the big metropolis in America, above all, Babylon, i.e. New York. But for the inhabitants of the southern states, such as here, North Carolina, there is a latent dislike for the Yankees. Going back to the Civil War, James Applewhite, a poet from the South, sends his son on his first trip to Babylon with a blessing, but also with a warning. Interesting. So let's read. The low river flows like smoked glass. Small bass guard their nest. Next to our house, the cardinals in their crab apple feed two open mouths. Parents and offspring, we flex and swing in the future's coming. Mirror we look into only darkly. My youngest is boarding an airplane to a New York he's never seen, raised in a such slumberous innocence of Bible schools and lemonade. I adjust poorly to this new thirst for fame, this electronic buzz prizing brilliance and murderers, oh son. Know that the psyche has its own fame, whether known or not. That soul can flame like feathers of a bird. Grow into your own plumage, brightly, so that any tree is a marvelous city. I wave from here by this Indian Inno, whose lonely name I have known. Interesting indeed. These poems definitely tell a story. They tell a story that is quite personal, but hold a lot of meaning, and I think it takes actually studying some of these poems to grasp the full meaning. For the most part, when I write poetry, I try to rhyme, but lately I've been trying to write poetry that has a different kind of flow, a different kind of vibe, and that doesn't always rhyme, because I realize that with poetry, if it's beautifully written, or if it has a flow, or if it's telling a story vaguely, then that classifies as poetry as well. And I saw something on the Threads app that said that poetry that rhyme is for kids. I disagree, because I've read some Shakespeare and it rhymes, and someone actually told me that my poems are kind of like Shakespeare's poems, so that's interesting. But the poetry that I've written, I feel like they do vaguely tell a story, or they vaguely express feeling, so you'll be able to pick up the emotions behind it, or kind of grasp what it is that I'm talking about. But I also like to have a rhythm or a flow or a rhyme, and that I think makes my poetry a little bit more unique. But I do want to try different forms of poetry writing, and that's why I bought these books. So I'm going to read a little bit from this one before I end the video. So I'm going to flip to a random page. Let's see. So this one is called I Forgive You. These are all by Jill Scot, by the way. So this one is called I Forgive You. I practice. I open my mouth wide for the I, stick my bottom lip in for the for, touch the roof of my mouth with my tongue for the give and get stuck. I forgive you. I practice, looking in the mirror for honest eyes, and a relaxed way when the words come. She didn't mean it, I say. She didn't know, I say. But you knew. You're so smart. You knew that this trouble would bubble in me, that I would need to pass this gas. You knew my pant size would climb. You knew my limited sleep would tense. And ultimately, I would do it. I would forgive you. But I hate you for knowing me so well. Interesting. This one was a little bit easier to understand than the older poetry that I read from this book. But I guess it demonstrates, or it illustrates, a person wanting to finally let out those dreadful words of I forgive you, practicing over and over, because it is a hard thing to forgive someone that's done you wrong, that said something wrong to you, did something wrong to you. It is difficult to forgive someone, but at the same time, it is a necessary thing to do. And it shows that she's expressing that the person she has to forgive knew that she would eventually forgive her, and that's what seems to bother her the most. That's how I'm interpreting it. Very interesting indeed. I think it definitely expresses what humans go through. So I'm going to read one more, and then that's going to be it for this video. I love poetry. It can be so simple, or it can be so complex. Some of these aren't, some of them are very, very expressive and use words that I don't necessarily want to read in my video or my channel, but yeah. So I stumbled upon a little series in the book of haikus that she wrote, so I'm going to read these and then end it. It was a loud cry when I was brought to this world, been loud ever since. Interesting. 2. Occasionally, I wish I could whip your back, but that won't help me. Interesting. Here's another one. I hear you thinking things to pull me down. I love anyway. Interesting. So I think a haiku is 575. So let me count. I hear you thinking things to pull me down. I love anyway. Yeah. So a haiku is 575. Very interesting. And last but not least, I hear them say it, cuss words ain't for no lady. Yeah, I'm not gonna read that one. So yeah, this book is interesting. I feel like her poetry is definitely relatable, especially for those who grew up with the struggle, grew up with Black struggle, you know, the things that Black people go through sometimes. And I think that a lot of people in the hood definitely can relate to some of these poems, or just Black people in general, because she does write a lot of heartfelt things due to her experiences, it seems. So yeah, these books are good so far, and I'm definitely learning a little bit more about poetry through reading them, learning a little bit more about different cultures through reading them, and hopefully improving my own style. So yeah, I hope to actually do more videos reading some poetry out of these books, as well as other poetry books that I have, and hopefully reading some of my poetry that I've written, and hopefully I'll be able to publish my own book. So that's something that I look forward to, and if that's something that you all hope to support in the future, that would definitely be much needed. I do have support links in my description box below if you wish to support me. Yeah, but I dedicate everything that I'm doing to the Most High, and hopefully to glorify Him in some way. So with that being said, I hope this video was interesting. If it was, leave a comment in the comment section below, like and subscribe as well. Thanks for watching.